Hey now, welcome back, Pokemon trainers. This is your friendly neighborhood Bulldogs, and today we are at the Wisconsin Regionals in Madison, Wisconsin for 2014. We're in round 5, and on your left we see Seth Peterson. On your right is Dustin Hovercat Zimmerman. Seth goes first. He starts off with a Hypnotoxic Laser, which automatically poisons the defending Pokemon, and then you flip a coin to see if the defending Pokemon is asleep. He flips Tails for for the laser, attaches an energy to Sableye, and plays Juniper, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. I see a Muscle Band and a Tool Scrapper on there. Benches a Darkrai and ends his turn. Dustin's Pikachu takes 10 damage. Dustin starts his turn by playing a Level Ball, searching for either a Pikachu or possibly a... Okay, it's just a Pikachu. I'm not exactly sure what Dustin's playing in this tournament. I see Grass Energies. This might be a VirGen Genesect deck that Dustin's playing. I've never seen this particular variant of it though. Or, no, I have. Pikachu... He uses VirGen to power up Genesect and Raichu. Raichu does 20 damage for each Pokemon that the player has in play for 2 colorless energies, and Genesect does 100 damage and 20 damage to a bench for 2 colored, 1 colorless energies. Dustin looks like he's got an N in his hands, which he's going to use. Forces both players to shuffle their hands into their decks and draw a number of cards equal to the number of prize cards that each player has. So at this point of the game, both Seth and Dustin will be drawing 6 cards off of that N. Dustin's probably going to be looking for VirGen. Oh, it looks like Dustin just split a sleeve, so he's just going to replace that quickly. When you're playing in a tournament, players like to play with sleeves so that their cards are protected, and right there you just saw why. The sleeve took the damage and split instead of the card taking all of the damage and potentially, not being usable for play in the future. So Dustin replaces the sleeve, and now both players will draw 6 cards. I see an electric guy in Dustin's hand. That's a Raichu, isn't it? Dustin is looking for an energy to attach, and he needs to get an energy on that VirGen, and I don't think he has an energy in his hand. However, he can at least get rid of the poison that's on Pikachu, although right now it doesn't really matter too much to him. Dustin's just going to take the 10 damage from poison and end his turn. Move over to Seth's turn. He benches a Yveltal and attaches a Darkness Energy to it. For 1 energy, his Oblivion Wing does 30 damage and attaches 1 Darkness Energy from his discard pile to one of his benched Darkness Pokemon. He then plays a Colress, which shuffles his own hand into his deck and draws a number of cards equal to the total number of benched Pokemon that both players have. Draws 4 cards. I think I saw a Max Potion in there, though. I could be completely wrong. Oh, I say, so he's going to retreat for free because of Darkrai's ability, Dark Cloak, which allows all Pokemon with Darkness Energy to retreat without paying the retreat cost. Now it's Dustin's turn. He'll draw his card, evolve to Raichu. I see an energy switch. I see... There's a Skyla. He's probably going to use it to search out his Professor Letter to get 2 Grass Energies out of the deck. He'll probably attach one of those to his VirGen and end his turn after that, unless he has another play in his hand. Definitely attaching 1 energy to VirGen. He's probably going to hold on to that Stadium that's in his hand. That's a Sky Arrow Bridge, which allows him to... all of his basic Pokemon, all basic Pokemon in play, retreat for 1 less energy. So now we're back to Seth's turn. He's going to free retreat his Yveltal, attach a Darkness Energy, Laser for nothing, because VirGen has the ability, I believe it's called Verdant Wind, that that prevents status conditions on Pokemon with grass energy attached to them. So Seth then played a Professor Sycamore, which is identical to Professor Juniper. You discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So and then he attacks with, I believe that's Night Slash, which does 90 damage to the active Pokemon and 30 damage to a bench. Dustin starts, attaches an energy to his active VirGen, which will allow him to use Emerald Slash. He's also going to play down a Sky Arrow Bridge, and then play Sycamore, discard his hand, draw 7. I saw Grass Energy discarded along with that. I know that these types of decks generally play a fairly low energy count, so discarding 1 energy, and I'm not sure if Dustin has a Super Rod, which will allow him to bring back that energy. I see that he has another energy in his hand. I also see some trainers, including a, Tool Scrapper, which will discard 2 tools attached to any Pokemon in play. 2 tools total. He chooses 2 tools and they just go away. I'm not sure, that's not a stadium. There's a Shadow Triad. He's going to free retreat into Raichu, probably because he's looking for a Genesect, really. He's trying to find a Genesect that VirGen can accelerate 2 energies onto. See a Buffalo that gets benched with an energy. And I see a Dark Patch in his hand, though I'm not sure if he actually has Darkness in the discard pile. Even if he does, I'm not sure if he wants to play that. He's going to attack with Night Spear for 90 to the active Raichu, and 30 to the benched VirGen. Dustin starts his turn by playing an Ultra Ball, discarding a Tool Scrapper. And what else is there in there? I see an Energy Switch, or is that a Escape Rope? That's an Escape Rope in his hand. He's trying to find something in his hand that he's not going to miss too much. That Grass Energy, I think he'll miss a lot. But he also can't really afford to discard the Plasma Energy because his opponent has free retreat. His opponent, he needs to stack damage on things. So he discards a Grass Energy and a Tool Scrapper, attach a G Booster to the bench, and use N. Both players shuffle in, draw a number of their prizes. In this case, Seth will get 4 cards, and Dustin will get 6. Dustin, at this point, is pretty certain that Seth doesn't play any Tool Scrappers in his deck, which means that he is reasonably well assured that that G Booster is going to stick around. G Booster is an A spec, which means you can only play 1 of it in your deck, and it gives Genesect an attack. For 3 energies, it does 200 damage, and you discard 2 energies attached to Genesect. Dustin just played an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards from his hand in order to search his deck for any 1 Pokemon. He's going to search for another VirGen. He might be... he's not going to Verdant Wind. He's going to retreat into the other VirGen, thus preventing Seth from taking 2 easy prizes. And then he's going to use Emerald Slash to deal 50 damage, take 2 Grass Energies, attach them to his benched Genesect. That Genesect now only needs 1 more energy in order to use both of its attacks. Its first attack, Megalo Cannon, does 100 to the active, 20 to a bench, and G Booster does 200, discard 2 energies attached to Genesect. Seth starts his turn, attaches a Muscle Band, which adds 20 damage to all attacks that Pokemon does to his Bouffalant, attaches an energy to the Buffalo, and then uses Random Receiver, flips cards from his deck until he sees a supporter card. He saw a Colress, which goes into his hand, and he's playing the Colress, shuffling his hand into his deck, drawing a number of cards equal to the number of benched Pokemon in play. In this case, he's going to draw 5 cards. Dustin cuts the deck. Seth takes his 5 cards. And I see a double colorless in his hand, but he's already attached his energy for the turn. That double colorless is generally best served on the Bouffalant. Ooh, something just happened. The Bouffalant's going to attack for 140 damage to the active VirGen. I think that what Seth is trying to do is trying to force Dustin to waste resources, either knocking out the Bouffalant or to bring up the Dusknoir and knock it out with G-Booster, wasting damage. Either way, it's going to waste damage. But depends on what Dustin manages to draw off of this N. Again, Dustin will take 6 off of the N, while Seth will take 4. Dustin, I see a Plasma Energy in his hand. Is he going to Red Signal? He's going to Red Signal up the Darkrai EX. Red Signal, if you attach a Plasma Energy from your hand to Genesect EX, you can use Red Signal, which allows you to switch your opponent's active Pokemon with his or her benched Pokemon. Dustin has, I see an Enhanced Hammer, I see, he's just going to G-Booster, knock out the Darkrai, take 2 prize cards, but unfortunately that Bouffalant comes right back up. And there's another Bouffalant going to the bench. I see a Darkness Energy in his hand, which he's going to attach to the benched Yveltal. He's going to attack with Bouffalant using Gold Breaker for 140 damage. Gold Breaker does 60 damage plus 60 more damage if the opponent is an EX, and then does plus 20 damage because of the Muscle Band that's attached to Bouffalant. Dustin's turn, he draws his card. I see a Muscle Band in his hand. Bouffalant also has an ability which prevents 20 damage done to the Bouffalant. So the Emerald Slash would only do 30 damage at this point. Megalo Cannon would only do 80. And Dustin doesn't have very much energy left in play. He does have... I know that he plays energy switches, but I don't think that he has one in his hand right now. Or at the very least, I don't think he can get to it. Oh no, he has a Skyla. I'm not sure if he's played his energy switch. If he has played his energy, if he has an energy switch left, he could take an energy off of his benched VirGen, attach it to his Genesect, and then attach one more energy, which would allow him to use Megalo Cannon and knock out the Bouffalant. Genesect would then get knocked out by the benched Yveltal. However, I think Dustin would be willing to make that exchange in order to get rid of the Buffalo. He's going to play a Skyla. I'm hoping that he has an energy in his hand. But he sees a town map. Might be thinking what he needs to see in his prizes, because town map, what it does, the player who plays it flips over his or her prize cards. So he's still trying to resolve the Skyla. Lets him search for any one trainer card that Dustin would like in his deck. Looks like he's trying to debate between a town map and a Super Rod. Oh, a Shadow Triad. What that'll do is it'll let him take a Team Plasma card out of his discard pile and put it into his hand. However, it's also a supporter card. So a lot of players will only play with 1 or 2 of those in their decks and wait for the right moment to use that ability. Because all other supporter cards draw cards, and that makes a lot of things a lot easier. He plays a Escape Rope, which forces both players to switch their active Pokemon, though Seth chooses first. Seth has chosen his Yveltal, which again attacks 1 for 30, and Dustin looks like he's thinking about sending up he has to send up one of his Yveltals. The question is which one? Send up the one with 140 on it, or the one with 120 on it? I think okay, he's going to send up the one with 120. He might not have an energy in his hand. If he doesn't, then that's about his only choice. He's going to then Emerald Slash for 50 or 70. Oh, he has an energy switch in his hand. He needs to... There's a muscle band, which will make Emerald Slash do 20 more damage, putting it at 70. And Dustin just going to Emerald Slash with the active one. I'm surprised he would do that up, because he knows that the Emerald Slash is going... He knows that Oblivion Wing is going to knock out VirGen, and he's allowing Seth to get one more energy in play, while not forcing him to bring up either the Bouffalant or the Darkrai for more damage. Yveltal uses Oblivion Wing for 30 damage, puts another energy onto that benched Bouffalant. Then he's going, and then he ends his turn. Dustin draws his card and plays Enhanced Hammer, which discards one of his opponent's special energy cards in play. He uses it to get rid of the double colorless attached to the benched Bouffalant, and then he plays a Colress, which will shuffle in, draw 5. Anytime you can draw cards in any card game that you can think of, it's usually a good thing. I've never seen a card game where drawing cards is a bad thing, or necessarily a bad thing. Dustin's just going to scoop this game, move on to game 2. Seth takes game 1. He's going to round into game 2 right now. So now both players know pretty much what their opponents are playing. Seth is playing a variant on Speed Darkrai Yveltal, but I didn't see an Yveltal EX played. I'm not sure if he plays it at all, or if he just wasn't using it for that game. It doesn't look like he plays a Garbodor in his deck, and Garbodor is really only played in Darkness decks because you can get back trainer cards with Sableye. I'm pretty certain that Seth is not playing Garbodor in his deck. What Garbodor does is, if a tool is attached to it, your opponent's Pokemon can't use abilities, or their abilities are shut off, or whatever language it is. Conversely, Dustin is playing a variant on VirGen Genesect. What VirGen Genesect tries to do is set up a turn 2 VirGen Emerald Slash to deal 50 damage and to get 2 energies out of their deck and onto a benched Pokemon. More than likely, they want those energies to go onto a Genesect. Genesect has 2 attacks. Its first attack is printed on the card and deals 100 damage to the active and 20 damage to a bench. Its second attack is on an A-Spec known as G-Booster, which deals 200 damage, but you have to discard 2 energies attached to Genesect. I also saw that Dustin was playing a Raichu in his deck. It looked like 2 Pikachu, 2 Raichu. And that does 20... That actually helps against Yveltal, because it's an electric type. Yveltal is weak to electric. So we start game 2. Dustin mulliganed once, so his opponent gets 1 additional card. He's starting off by playing an Ultra Ball. He has to discard 2 cards from his hand to search his deck for 1 Pokemon. He's probably going to use it to search for a VirGen, and he wants to attach an energy, any energy, from his hand onto VirGen. He would prefer if it were a Grass energy, so that he can save the Plasma energies for his active Genesect. Genesect has an ability when you attach a Plasma energy from your hand to Genesect, you get to switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of his or her benched Pokemon. And you get to choose the benched Pokemon that comes up. That allows you pretty much complete control over your opponent's board. However, because Plasma Energy is a special energy, you only get 4 uses of Red Signal at most in most decks. Dustin plays an N. Both players shuffle in, draw 6 cards because that's how many prizes they have, and then he just ends his turn. We move over to Seth, and he plays down an Yveltal. We didn't see this in the first game. What Yveltal does, has 170 HP to retreat. Its first attack costs 2, Evil Ball, and it does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. Seth needed to find a darkness energy to attach to his Sableye so that Sableye could use Junk Hunt, pulling 2 item cards out of the discard pile and into his hand. Seth got a laser, which will not put it to sleep, but poison it. Put 3 damage counters, and he's going to take back 2 trainers. It looked like he had Tool Scrapper and a Comp Search. Dustin's going to start his turn by laying a Grass Energy onto VirGen, and oh, that isn't good. He uses Professor Juniper, discarding 3 Grass Energies and a, what is that? And a Plasma Energy. That's not good for Dustin because he does not have all that much energy in his deck to work with. I've played with VirGen Genesect before. It's very tight on energy. You need to maximize every energy that you have in that deck, and Dustin just got rid of 4 of them. But he's just going to bring up VirGen, Emerald Slash, put 20 damage, put 50 damage on the active Eviltal, and put 2 energies onto the benched Genesect. So now, let's see. Seth just used his computer search to search out a Darkrai, allows him to retreat for free, and then he used Junk Hunt to get back 2 item cards from his discard pile. It looked like he got back a, a laser and a Tool Scrapper. Dustin, he has a Plasma Energy in his hand, and he desperately wants to play that Plasma Energy on his Genesect. He has a Skyla, which will allow him to search for any 1 trainer card in his deck, including an A-Spec if he wants it. But I think that what he's going to do is try and find his Muscle Band so that he can knock out that benched Eviltal. However, he gets a Sky Arrow to get rid of the Verbank that Seth played, and then he's going to use... He's not going to use Red Signal, he's just going to knock out Sableye and put 20 more damage onto the benched Eviltal. That means that Eviltal now needs 100 damage in order to get knocked out. Looks like Seth didn't have much he could do on that turn, so he just passed. Dustin draws his card, benches 2 Pokemon, a Pikachu and a Genesect. And then it looks like he's going to play a Colress, which shuffles his hand into his deck, and draws a number of cards equal to the total number of benched Pokemon in play. There are 5 benched Pokemon, so Dustin gets 5 cards. He's then going to use Megalo Cannon, knocks out the active Eviltal, puts 20 damage on the benched Darkrai, and ends his turn. Seth starts his turn, pushes up the Darkrai, and plays Colress to draw now 4 cards because that Eviltal was knocked out. Seth is unfortunately in a very bad position for him. Dustin has all the cards and all the energies that he could possibly want, and Seth has no energy in play. I see a Max Potion, although I would not have played it there. I would have waited 1 more turn. Yeah, Seth's just going to concede Game 2, move on to Game 3. They're both hoping that there is enough time left for Game 3 so that they can play a complete game and not end up with a tie. Based on what I know about the schedule for this tournament, it looks like we have about 25 minutes remaining in the round, which means that there should be more than enough time to get a complete 3rd game in and avoid the tie. So now Seth, since he lost Game 2, he'll get to choose who goes first in Game 3. They're going to shuffle up their deck, and once again, what Seth is trying to do is he's trying to in this particular matchup, because he knows that his opponent plays an electric Pokemon line that can easily one-shot his Eviltal, he's trying to set up Darkrai's and Bouffalants, which don't take weakness damage against Dustin's VirGen Genesect Raichu deck. Dustin, on the other hand, is just trying to get energies into play and to force Seth into making plays that he doesn't want to make. So Seth will get to go first. Both players have basics, so they'll both set out their 6 prize cards. Looks like Seth is going to start with a lone Darkrai, while Dustin gets to start with 2 VirGens. Seth goes first, draws his card, going to attach a Darkness Energy to the active Darkrai, bench a Bouffalant, and end his turn because he has no supporter card in hand. It's Dustin's turn. He starts off by attaching a Grass Energy to his active VirGen, and I saw an Ultra Ball in his hand. He's going to want to play that at some point to get Genesect into play. However, it looks like he's just going to play an N. Force both players to shuffle their hands into their decks and draw a number of cards equal to the number of prize cards that that player has. So at this point in the game, both players will draw 6 cards. Nobody's taken a knockout at this time. Again, Dustin is trying to find his Genesect or a Pikachu. Either one of those would help him out a lot. And I see an Ultra Ball in his hand. He looks like he wants to discard a Grass Energy and a Tool Scrapper. He's going to use that to search for a Genesect more than likely. Because he doesn't see an Eviltal in play, he wants to search out the Genesect because that's his most powerful attacker more often than not. The Raichu and Pikachu come into play when he sees an Eviltal or a Lugia come into play. Both of those have electric weakness, and both of those Raichu would one-shot for only 2 energies. Raichu's attack for 2 colorless energies forces... What does it do? It does 20 damage times the number of benched Pokemon that player has in play. Seth starts off by playing a Burbank City Gym, and then plays a Professor Sycamore, discarding the rest of his hand and drawing 7 new cards. I see a double colorless in his hand. However, we already know that he's played his energy for the turn, so he just passes his turn. Dustin starts by playing an N, attaching an energy to his active VirGen, and now both players shuffle in, draw 6. Dustin is probably looking for a Pikachu or maybe another Genesect so that he can stack his energies correctly. There's his Pikachu, and he has no tools in his hand that he wants to attach. He's just going to use Emerald Slash to deal 30 damage and put 2 energies onto his benched Genesect. That 30 damage is pretty big because now Genesect can come back up and attack Bouffalant with Megalocannon for 80 damage, knocking out the Bouffalant, and dealing another 20 damage to the active Darkrai. Seth is going to play very aggressive right now, attaching a double colorless to the active Bouffalant, and using an energy switch to move a basic Darkness Energy from his bench Darkrai up to the active. Then benches an Eviltal, plays a random receiver, and the first card he sees is an N, which he takes into his hand. He's supposed to shuffle his deck afterwards, but he figures that he's just going to play a shuffle card anyway, so he'll just leave that there. He plays a Colress, shuffles in, and draws 5 because that's how many bench Pokemon there are in play. And I see an Ultra Ball in his hand. I see a... what is that? I see a Sableye in his hand. That would be useful at some point. But he just uses Gold Breaker to hit for 120 damage. We're now back to Dustin's turn. He's going to attach a Grass Energy to his benched Genesect. He's going to play a Skyla to try and find probably a Sky Arrow Gym, which will reduce his retreat cost and allow him to maintain that VirGen in play. Yep, there's his Sky Arrow. and that VirGen can now retreat for free. Like I said, maintaining 2 energies and allowing him to use energy switch at some point to save the energies attached to it. Then attacks with Megalo Cannon, dealing 80 damage to the active Bouffalant and 20 damage to the bench Darkrai. Darkrai comes up with a single energy attached, and Seth plays an end. So at this point, Dustin will shuffle in, draw 5, and Seth will shuffle in, draw 6. Seth is completely out of energies in play, though it'll be pretty easy for him to get more energies relatively quickly. He has Dark Patch, which allows him to attach a Darkness energy from his discard pile to one of his bench Darkness Pokemon. He also has Energy Switch, and he has also not attached an energy this turn. So it looks like he has one of two choices here. He can either attach the energy to the active Darkrai. Nope, he's instead bringing up Yveltal, retreating for free, using Energy Switch to attach an energy to the active Yveltal. And he has not yet attached an energy this turn. He's going to attach a Muscle Band to the active Yveltal, a Darkness energy to the active Yveltal. He's probably going to use Evil Ball. So your Evil Ball will do 20 damage for each, 20 plus 20 for each energy attached to both actives. So there's 6 energies attached. That's 120, 140, 160. He's just going to attack for the 160 and force Genesect to basically have to knock out the Yveltal this turn, which Dustin can pretty easily do. He's got an energy switch, moving an energy from VirGen to a Pikachu, and he'll attach a Plasma energy to the Pikachu and G-Booster the active Genesect. Right now what Dustin's trying to do is set up Raichu that can come up and one-shot that Yveltal. But I don't think he has the Raichu in hand. Oh, there's an Ultra Ball. The Ultra Ball will allow him to discard 2 cards from his hand. He discards an Enhanced Hammer and an N, and he'll search for the Raichu. The Raichu, I believe, with all the Pokemon that's in play and the Muscle Band, will deal 100 damage, which will double to 200 damage because of Yveltal's weakness. So free retreat due to Sky Arrow Gem, and Raichu uses I think it's Circular Steps for 100 damage, 200 after weakness. It's now Seth's turn. He will draw his card, just play Sycamore, discarding out his hand, drawing 7 new cards. We see an Yveltal in his hand with a double colorless energy. However, Seth already knows that Yveltal is a double-edged sword. He could knock out the he could come up and knock out the active Raichu, but he knows that Genesect is sitting back there just waiting to hit for 200 damage off of a G-Booster. Plays the, what is that? A Dark Patch to get another energy active, and then he's just going to pass his turn. Dustin's turn, he draws his card, plays a Skyless, searches his deck for any one trainer that he would like. And there's an Escape Rope, which brings up the Yveltal to be knocked out, but also allows Dustin to free retreat into the Raichu, which will knock out the Yveltal without taking damage itself or discarding energies. And let's see here. Seth's going to Max Potion, play a Skyla to draw a card. Play Sycamore, discard his hand, draw 7 new ones. But I really don't think that Seth has any plays left in him, because there's that Genesect that's sitting on the bench, just waiting to come up and hit for 200 damage. Just discard 2 energies. There's a Bouffalant. Also, Dustin only has 1 prize left. Seth's playing a Computer Search, discards 2 cards from his hand to search his deck for any 1 card that he would like. Although I'm not exactly sure what he can get at this point. Just going to get a Darkness energy, save his Darkrai. Even that wouldn't help, because Circular Steps would just knock out the benched Bouffalant. Dustin lets him take the play back. He's going to instead Tool Scrapper, the G Booster, and the muscle band that were attached. This will buy Seth an extra turn to do what he needs. Unfortunately, he has no energies in play. So Dustin can still just keep pounding away for, at this point, 80 damage. There's 100. And there's a Sycamore. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's looking for a muscle band at this point. If he sees a muscle band, he can attach it to his active. He's looking for both a muscle band and a plasma energy. He got the muscle band, but he whiffed on the plasma energy, it looks like. There's a Sky Arrow getting rid of Virbank and giving him back his free retreat. He's got a muscle band, which he can attach to his active for making it deal 120 damage, but 120 doesn't really do anything at this point. He's going to muscle band his benched Genesect instead. Oh, nope, muscle band the active. Hit for 120. Circular Steps does 20 damage times the number of benched Pokemon that you have, and the muscle band adds 20 damage on top of that. So in total, 120 damage. Seth plays an N. Both players shuffle their hands into their deck and draw a number of cards equal to their prize cards. Dustin will get 1. Seth will get 6. But even with that, Dustin has a commanding lead. All he needs to do is attack once, and I believe Dustin will win this tournament. He's going to play an Enhanced Hammer, getting rid of a Plasma Energy, forcing Dustin to draw into either an Energy card or a Energy Switch. He's already flashed the Grass Energy. There's 2 Grass Energies. Circular Steps hits for 120, 100 after Boofer. And Dustin takes game 3 and wins the match. So Dustin moves on. I believe he's either undefeated or has a 1 loss at this point. So he's still in contention for a top cut spot. Seth will come back, and he's also probably still in contention, but things will get a lot harder for him from now on. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.